Hello, hello,
Charles, we're live, Charles. We're
hello.
live.
Hello,
Charles,
everyone. It's a beautiful Tuesday evening under the stars.
it's
Wednesday,
Aloha Friday.
you know,
No work till Monday.
when I say I'm under the stars, that means I had too much to drink and I'm flat on the ground right outside my car door looking up at the stars. How
I
you,
thought
brother?
you stopped. I thought you stopped drinking.
I have. I only joking.
I don't know, man. It looks kind of real to me.
Huh? No,
Yeah, yeah.
I just having flashbacks, you know. They say, how was it last night, brother Charlie, looking at the stars? I go, well, between that and the dog licking my face was pretty nice.
Hey, nice shirt, by the way. Nice shirt.
Yeah, I feel good, man. I feel good.
Apparently, you had a good day today, huh?
Oh yeah. I just I had a call early this morning at about 2 in the morning. It was Jake from State Farm.
I think we're gonna have to take alcohol test before we start the show as we get into the new the new format. Oh, Warren Haruki. Oh my goodness. Hey Warren, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. I don't know. Can see Charlie.
Huh?
Can see my shirt.
Yeah, Grow Farm. Grow Farm.
How's that, boy? Ah, we get some heavy hitters. We get Bitos Gandia on here tonight. My God. Bitos, you gotta teach me how to grow vegetables, man. I look at your pictures, I'm getting jealous. Mine look measly.
Well,
But anyway,
the best way to grow vegetables here in like when they are, it's warm. You go big save. You buy one cabbage, just like that. Throw them in the ground, cover them, and water them. Fuck a grow.
you know, I'm trying so hard to get my garden going, and this we should be able to pick this in the next day or two, and I get a whole new crop of starters that's going to go in. So I'm kind of excited. It different appreciation, man, and it's so ironic. Tonight we're going to have the executive director of the Hawaii Farm Bureau on, Brian Miyamoto, and he's going to talk about the good things that they're doing and the opportunities. But I tell you, we take it for granted. You go to the store, you pick up the vegetables, the fruits, and you eat them, and you don't think about the work and the effort that gets put into that stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely growing a new appreciation to farming and the slugs. I had that experience with our goddamn slugs and wiped out my squash. Yeah, me and Patsy say, you go out, take a look. Because my brother said they come out at night, and sure enough, munching down my squash. I tell you, I let them go though. I let them go. That one. The next day, I bought the slug pellets, and but when I went out that next night to put them on, because the instruction said to put them on in the evening, had two little jackasses in my string beans, my green beans. Those got the asphalt treatment. Those two got the asphalt treatment, and they became meals for the birds, like so many of you guys had suggest. Uh, but
You know what's hard about those slugs? That's why you gotta be careful. They don't come out in the daytime. You know why? If you're gonna have night vision goggles so bright they get blinded. They gotta go nighttime for you to goggles at night.
well, yeah, Beatles is saying I got to use a trellis. This was just a starter, man. He took them right off the ground. It wasn't even, that was a squash too. The My beans was growing all nice on a chain link fence. Was really really nice. And then man, anyway,
Ask beetles
live and
what does
learn.
it what does it there's something that slugs don't like. What don't they like? What kind of
Well,
vegetables they
there's
like?
this thing. My brother told me to go buy this slug bait, slug and snail bait, and I went. I bought a bag of them from Ace, and I went out, put them out. Shoo, gone. I don't know what they do. I don't know what it does, but it works. So
Well,
my squash my new squash is growing really really nice, and I'm almost thinking about setting up my little camp tent outside with my slingshot, and when those guys come out, I just take them out, take them out. Huh? At least I don't have a problem with deer. Oh, my sister from Washington. At least you don't have a problem with deer. Well, at least the deer you can take them out and eat them. You cannot eat the slugs. And over here they
No,
carry that rat lungworm. Oh my God.
escargots.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll save them, Charles, and I'll bring it to you out in Wyoming, and you can prepare them and eat them. And we can
You
ask.
make them,
Maybe we can ask
make them
Brian.
with garlic. Make them with butter and garlic.
I love escargot, but not made out of these garden African snails. Hell,
That's the best
no.
thing. Bugger chewy, the bugger crunchy. Believe it, foodie cocky on top. Good.
Well, I go out every night now and I go check them, and I haven't seen a snail or a slug in a few nights. So, but I'll remember that, Charlie, and I'll pack them all up. I'll freeze them and I'll take them out for you. You need a bird watcher. Yeah, I was thinking it was the chickens and put things. I was about ready to get on pellet gun, and good thing because I hate to shoot chickens, But if they take in my food source, they're gone. That's just the way it works. Survival of the fittest. But I didn't have to do that, so the chickens survive. I love chickens because they eat centipedes. I hate centipedes. Ooh. Yeah. But anyway, Brian is in a waiting room.
I love centipedes. You put them on a long barbecue stick with sesame oil, and you just put them on the fire for some crunchy. Woo.
Now I am really beginning to worry. Look. I don't know if Brian was watching Facebook before he came on, but if he could only hear what you were saying, he probably wouldn't come on. Look, he looked mad. I don't know why. How come they all come on our show? They look mad. How come they don't smile when they come on our show? Brian, you need to smile. Can you hear me? Hey,
Mel. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, man. Thank you. Oh, he get the Kauai County Farm Bureau shirt. See how prepared? No, wrong side. There we go. Boy, we're talking about my first farming attempt in my backyard, and I got on raised garden bed, and so proud of it. I was dealing with some slugs and snails. We're just talking about that, and
Farming is tough.
Terrible, that stuff. And in addition to all the bugs, but I'm learning, and we're gonna harvest our first lettuce probably tomorrow, and we're gonna eat that for dinner, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to go branch out now. So now I get some cucumbers, I get radish, I get eggplant, tomatoes, and peppers. Some hot peppers, man. That's gonna be used
a spicy salad there.
Oh yeah, gonna be awesome. I'm gonna lose weight, and gonna be awesome. But anyway, welcome, Brian. Brian, for those of you that don't know, I know you know Charlie. Everybody knows Charlie. Brian is the executive director of the Hawaii Farm Bureau, and is doing a lot of good things here in the state during these trying times. So Brian, I'm just gonna turn it over to you, man. And the way it works is we just take the questions as it comes up. Farmer in the Dell. So now they're calling me the farmer in the Dell. Now that's why this show sometimes drive me nuts. But anyway,
don't forget to share. Don't forget to share. Tell everybody.
Share. Start a watch party. Share this with everybody you know and love, and even the ones you hate. Just share it with everybody.
You can't share. Just remember, Sonny and share. Sonny and share. There you go.
There we go, Brian. I gotta deal with this every single night, Charles. Brian. So anyway, we'll take the questions from the field and give us an overview, man. What you guys been doing? I know you guys been super busy, so give us an overview of what the Hawaii Farm Bureau is doing and how you guys are helping out the people. I know food is a very important component, and you guys are doing a lot with that. So take it away, my friend.
Okay. Aloha, Mel. Aloha, Charlie, and everybody watching. Thank you for inviting the Farm Bureau on to your show. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about agriculture. So, farming, like every other business, it's been severely impacted by COVID-19. Our farmers, farming is a tough business. You try with your garden, you understand the challenges, so, when COVID-19 hit, and when it really hit kind of about mid-March, with the hospitality industry closing, our food service, our restaurants closing down, cruise ships, some farmers markets, even the schools with the farm to school program that Senator Kochi has been working on. our farmers lost a lot of their retail markets, a lot of places that they sell to. So, the Farm Bureau, we worked with our county governments, through our county chapters, our state, legislature and administration, and with the congressional delegation, again, to try to get help like every other industry was trying to do, for their, for the people in their industry. And, farmers early on weren't able to or weren't getting a lot of the relief. PPP was a challenge for farmers. SBA's EIDL, emergency loan, they didn't qualify for the first round. Unemployment, we know the challenges there. And some of the farmers, they don't have traditional employment. They're family farms. So, they struggle getting, some of the relief that others were able to get. So, the Farm Bureau, along with other organizations, but the Farm Bureau, what we did was we tried to look for, markets for the farmers that had lost their markets. One of the first ones that shut down was our KCC Farmers Market and our Kailua Farmers Market. And, we looked at what Kona Farm Bureau was doing at the Keoho Farmers Market, and they started an online, farmers market. So we looked into that, and the State Farm Bureau created the Farm to Car program. Essentially, it's an online farmers market. It was to support the farmers that had lost their sales at the regular farmers market, but it also helped with some of the social distancing, some of the concerns about the spread of COVID-19. So essentially, you jump online, you select exactly what you want, you put in your order, and a week later, when there was a pickup date, so we're doing it twice a week, you come through, the cars would just drive through with their trunks open, show us their order number, and we would put it into their cars. There was very little interaction, and it's extremely successful. And over the, I think 2 months that we did it, the farmers and the food producers were able to get $200,000 in sales that maybe they couldn't get because they weren't at a farmer's market that had closed, or they didn't have other markets. But there was a lot of innovative things that came up also. We've always had CSAs, but CSAs really ramped up. A lot of these organizations started purchasing more local. Some home deliveries had really ramped up. We had it, but it wasn't as popular as we see it now. FarmLink, Oahu Fresh on Kauai, you had Try Eat Hawaii, basically connecting consumers and our local residents with our local farmers. So there was a lot of this innovative stuff that came out. And one other positive, if there's any positive, is really the focus and attention and the reconnection to the local ag industry. So, we hope that momentum continues. But a lot of these innovative activities, farm to car, the CSAs ramping up, the home deliveries, they're really supporting our small growers and our small farmers. But some of the medium and larger farmers lost, 40 to 60% of their sales. Our papaya growers on Hawaii Island, a lot of their papayas are for export for Japan and Canada and the mainland. Our pineapple guys, our two big pineapple guys, Maui Gold and Dole, they're highly dependent on the tourism industry. And then we had some of our larger food producers that, again, with the shutting down of all those other retail markets, they didn't have a place to sell their product. And farming is a business. And if they can't sell what's already in the ground or what they've already started harvesting, they're not going to have the income to continue to farm. So one of the things that came up was the partnerships with the food banks across the state. But, for the Hawaii Farm Bureau, the partnership with the Hawaii Food Bank, which services Oahu and Kauai, the Kauai Food Bank, has been amazing. Ron Muzitani at the Hawaii Food Bank and his crew, his staff, they really stepped forward and, made a decision that they were going to buy local produce. They were going to buy, from our local farmers to support those that are in need. And, they were here before COVID, they're here now, they'll be here after. And really, they helped move a lot of the products. And we just completed today was the 11th food giving that we've been doing at the Aloha Stadium. We're doing about 100,000 pounds, 80 to 100,000 pounds a week of local produce being purchased. Okay, that's just one activity. On top of that, they're doing another 30 to 60,000 pounds a week, okay, for their 200 food partners. So, the Aloha Stadium big event that we just finished was a partnership with Bank of Hawaii, Hawaii Community Foundation, and the City County in Honolulu. So we've got a lot of organizations really stepped up. Ulupono has been amazing. On Hawaii Island, Council Member Tim Richards and Randy Kubrar, our Farm Bureau president, were able to raise $165,000 to purchase local produce and local proteins for the food basket, Hawaiian food basket, for the Boys and Girls Club, for many of these organizations that are really stepping up to support those that are in need. Atherton Foundation, O'Neill Foundation, Keck Observatory, the County of Hawaii, Mauna Kea Observatory. They really stepped up. And then you have some small organizations, well, not small, but some other organizations that have really just contributed to this movement. Kupu here on Oahu, Lanakila Meals on Wheels. I know on Kauai, the mayor is doing his, I believe it's called the Kupuna. I got it right there. I don't want to miss it. Kauai Kupuna Care. Okay, you've got companies like again, Ulupono, Alexander and Baldwin, Bear. Many companies have contributed to the Farm Bureau and to others to help support those that are in need. Hawaii Crop Improvement Association donated quite a bit of money to support the frontline healthcare workers. They did about 2,000 bags of fresh produce for the healthcare workers. Everybody's donating, meals and all these other things. But the Hawaii Farm Bureau, with partnership with our Crop Improvement Association, Ulupono, 2,000 bags here on Oahu, on Hawaii Island, to help the coffee growers who have really struggled also because their markets have kind of disappeared. Purchased from a bunch of, I think, Ka'u and Kona coffee growers, farmers, and donated it to the hospitals to support those that are on the front line. So, again, I can't say enough about what the food banks across the state, the Kauai Food Bank, Kauai Independent Food Bank, the Maui Food Bank, the Hawaii Food Basket, and then the Hawaii Food Bank here. They're doing some really, really amazing things. Our counties are stepping up. City County donated $1 million for this food giving. Kauai County is doing amazing work. Kauai Farm Bureau is $10,000 to local purchases. Maui County donated to the Maui County Farm Bureau $100,000 to purchase local produce over 5 weeks. And my understanding is they're putting another $80,000 to continue this momentum. And then Hawaii County, I think they did a couple with us, $50,000. Again, it's all going to the farmers and all going to those that are in need. So there's some really exciting things that have been going on. Again, everybody's stepping up. First Hawaiian Bank statewide, they're donating to all of these nonprofits that are really servicing those that are in need. And it's a lot of people now. It's not the normal people. But on top of that, they're helping our agriculture industry. They're buying from our farmers and ranchers. So that's the real exciting part.
Well, let me ask you something. I can really see that when we talk about helping local, it's a full court press, right? What you've been doing all this time. So, we know that, the future right now, it has gotten impacted so hard. So how do you see the future of farming in Hawaii because of this setback? I mean, it's going to take a while to kickstart again because it's been down. I mean, it's been impacted not only on one island, but the entire state. So how do you see the future of farming in Hawaii?
Well, farming has shrunk down as far as our GDP. So we're hoping to build the GDP, our contribution to our economy. And in order to do that, we need to support our farmers and ranchers. What do we need to do? We need to lower the cost of their production. We need a system. We need to incentivize them to continue to grow the products that we need. We are so diversified here in Hawaii on the things that we grow. We grow so many different products. But farming is a tough business. Again, I'll go back to what Mel said when he started. He's trying to grow some things, and the pests, the weather, the market conditions, the competition with imported stuff. So, I think if price was the same, there would be no comparison of what our locals would buy. They would definitely buy the locally produced agriculture products. But sometimes because of financial situations, they go to Costco. They'll buy in bulk the cheaper things. So we need to support with land use, with access to affordable water, addressing our labor concerns, our transportation. We see what's going on with young brothers. Our neighbor island farmers, they're somewhat at a competitive disadvantage because, if the inputs that we still don't produce here, everything, so we still need to input things to produce the farm products. If they come into Honolulu and they shipped out to the neighbor island, that's an increased cost that our neighbor island farmers have. And if those neighbor island farmers want to sell here at the market on Oahu, where we've got majority of the population, that's another cost that maybe some Oahu farmers don't have to incur. So, farming there's just you know, it's challenging to do business to begin with, and then when you add on, land use, labor costs, water costs, um, cost of transportation, cost of fuel for their tractors and machinery, cost of energy. So if we can figure out how we lower those costs and figure out how we help some of our medium farmers maybe increase their scale, because with scale, prices for farm products will become lower. We need all farmers. We've got about 7,300 farmers here in Hawaii, but we need to support small, medium, large. We need to support all farmers, all growing practices, all different commodities. One of the biggest hit commodities was our nursery guys. When the governors and the mayors had declared agriculture an essential business, our farmers could continue to produce the food and continue to work, but the nursery guys really weren't part of that because they weren't, considered food. And if you ask some of the nursery guys, anywhere from 50% to 100% loss in sales, 100%, some of them. So, it's a tough question, Charlie. We've got a lot of different groups, kind of getting together. The legislature has been great with, supporting infrastructure and CIP projects to help our farmers. It's a time where we need more investment, more capital for our farmers and ranchers if we really want to grow our industry. And our industry at this point, it's a pretty small industry, so there is true opportunity for growth of the agriculture industry here in Hawaii.
You mentioned water. You mentioned water, and I know that's always been a problem throughout the state. Do the farmers get any type of reduced water rates or facilities reserve charges, any kind of discounts? I know on Kauai, I don't know how the other counties are doing it, but what's the common theme across the state as far as providing water to farmers?
Water is essential need. You can have the most fertile soil, you can have everything that I talked about that we needed, the long-term leases, the capital, but we need access to water. One of the things that we need to do is consider drought mitigation and capture the water when we have a lot of water. Water is a public trust. Water is important to everybody, but in order to farm, we do need water. So, supporting our farmers in their access to water, and not just the access, but the affordability. So there's different rates depending on if you're on state land, on private land, if you're using municipal water, where your sources are from. So, water is different depending on where you are, what island and what kind of land you're farming on. So, again, these are just one of the challenges of farming. There's so many different, components to being a successful farmer.
But water is one of the most important and that's what really the cost to start a farm now, the cost to acquire water from the counties, very significant cost. And I think that is where the counties can help. Unfortunately, as is on all the islands, the water departments are all semi-autonomous, so they don't function under the county councils and the mayors. They come under their own board of water. So they don't get elected. They don't get elected. They're appointed. So there's no real I won't say accountability, but there's no way the public can pick and choose. So it's difficult. It's difficult, and the same goes for affordable housing. It's this water cost. $14,000 to put a meter on a lot is significant for the meter now. It's just to get the meter. So I think what I'm trying to say is that if we want to, we're learning a lot in this pandemic, and if there is a silver lining, it's the people's appreciation for the locally grown farm products. As you can see now, people lining up for hours to get food, and that's not because they want to; it's because they need. My wife and I think I speak for many others, have had the opportunity to get boxes, these vegetable boxes with you pay a price and it's a surprise. You get it and you don't know what's in it, and you come home and you eat this locally grown produce. We went to Grow Farm, the Grow Farm Sunshine Market last week. It was an incredible experience there. I mean, it's wide open. The social distancing is easy to accommodate. The parking is incredible, and the availability and the variety of stuff you can buy from fish to produce. So I think a lot of people now are going that way, but again, it's the cost. Yeah, it is. It's not cheap, and this is where I'm going with this. Is I was at Costco today. I had to repair a tire, and it was taking a while, so I went inside Costco because it was air conditioned. But there's a lot of people in there buying Costco vegetables, and I recognize some of them that preach sustainability. You cannot preach sustainability and buy your stuff from Costco. It's a sacrifice that we all got to make if we want to sustain this industry on Kauai and in the state. Then we got to make that at least a percentage of your produce. You got to give them to local farmers. We had Johnny Gardinez on the show a month or so ago, and we talked about that in detail. We got to make that commitment as buyers, as that we got to buy local. We got to start changing the mindset if we want to even give farming a chance, and we got to start buying local. And that's every one of us.
I agree. Well, and the commitment, I think is a key word that you said. UH and Department of Ag did a study. This was maybe 10 years ago, and then people use it all the time where they say if we just replace 10% of our imports with local purchasing, that's like $333 million being put back into our local economy. So, what does that mean? 10% in your shopping cart or your shopping basket. 1 out of 10. Buy 1 out of 10. Buy the local eggs. Okay. Buy local, buy your local onions, buy your local produce, buy your local papayas. Just make sure it's local. 1 out of 10. Start there if you're not doing it now. If those that are buying local, mostly local, thank you. Really, it does matter. Buying local really matters because if the farmers or if the supermarkets who are carrying the local, right, and they agree to carry local produce or local products and it's not being sold, they're going to stop carrying it. So we need to support our farmers, not only going to the farmers market. And by the way, congratulations on the Grow Farm. I think you're talking about the Grow Farm Puhi Park produce market. Really, really great at what they did to step up. And I agree, farmers market was deemed an essential business early on. And some farmers market remained open, but some had closed. So those that are still open, that remain open during this entire period, we really appreciate the opportunity for farmers and our ranchers to sell there. A couple of ours on Oahu closed, but some stayed open, and we really saw, the customers loved coming out and, being out in the open air. It's just like a supermarket, but it's out in the open air, social distancing, CDC guidelines are established. So, we really saw this revival of local agriculture. We hope that continues, but there needs to be that commitment. So again, working with our congressional delegation, our state legislature, we've got, Senate President Kochi there, working on the Farm to State program, which is really, really, we're really excited about what's going on in Kauai. Working with Majority Leader Baladi and Rep Onishi on the House side, and we just met and had a conference with Department of Education to continue the discussion, continue that momentum, and really we talked about what's going on in Kauai. And Kauai, we're really hoping that Kauai will set the stage for the rest of the state. Senate President talks about the DOE being the largest restaurant in the state. 100,000 meals. We hear it's up to 130,000 meals. A little bit challenging now with what's going on, but when DOE schools resume, that's a market that really can help support the growth of our industry. Those long-term contracts with the farmers, dedicated. So we're really excited and really watching what's going on in Kauai. I'm sorry, Charlie. I think I cut you off.
No. I was just gonna say that I wanted to, in line with what you said about buying local. I had a person here that put up on the screen, and I think it's worthwhile mentioning. But Aina Ho'okupu o Kilauea on Kilauea Road is open for amazing fresh produce for purchase on Tuesday and Saturday from 10 to 2. Yoshi at AHK purchases from about 15 to 20 farmers across the island in support of keeping them in business. He also supports ranchers and fishermen. He started Kauai Burger Bag. I think that's that's noteworthy and worth mentioning because, as you say, Brian, my fear has always been when you get news that YB wants to cut down its shipment to the outer islands. Before there was kind of a leveling that when everyone looked at Super Ferry as an example, that for that short period in time when it was open, people tried it, and it made sense, especially with someone like the smaller farmers that could say maybe drive to onto Super Ferry, go to Maui, go up to Kula, pick what they needed, and come back and bring to Oahu. It gave them a fighting chance. But when that all went away, as you said, it then went to the shipping lanes or the airline lane, right, to get those products back and forth. So the thing that I worry about, and I wanted to ask you, is we've got products across all islands. I personally don't know who does bananas. I mean, good bananas. I mean, I'm pretty sure every island has a banana grower, but I think there needs to be some kind of cataloging so people can go online and see, hey, who's growing what, so that, maybe if they got a product like baby asparagus, or at one time we had a lot of baby vegetables that a lot of the restaurants is using, and that, a lot of people would like to use too, but we don't know where to get them. Do you folks think about, starting a catalog system like that?
Yeah, yes. So, the Department of Ag actually has a directory, and they've been reaching out to farmers across the state to or put their name on this. But when the COVID hit, again, looking at where can we sell the local products that for the farmers who lost their markets, one of the first um, entities that stepped up was actually Foodland. And I'm sorry to hear that Foodland in Kapa'a is shutting down, but Foodland, they contacted the Farm Bureau and they said, hey, we want to purchase more local. They already do, but they wanted to purchase more local. And then another organization that stepped up, and this is part of that farm to state program, was the public safety department, the prison system. And they actually had purchased products that were supposed to go to the farmers market, but because the farmers market had closed, they actually purchased it and used it in public safety. So seeing that we had some interest and supermarkets, Tamora's, Down to Earth, KTA, they all wanted to increase their local purchasing. We sent out a request to farmers, and we wanted it to anybody. They didn't have to be a Farm Bureau member, but kind of create this database of farmers and ranchers, anybody who had local products, and it was statewide. So it's something that we started. I think it's something that's valuable. I know different counties, different islands are doing that. You mentioned some of the organizations. I had an opportunity to meet Yoshi, I think, late last year, exciting on what he's doing, what's going on as far as with agriculture. So there are efforts. We just need to coordinate a little bit better. And I think with COVID, what we're seeing is different organizations working together to try to achieve the same goal. The immediate need was to support the farmers, keep them farming, keep the ranchers producing and growing. And then let's look on forward and okay, how are we going to change our industry so that we can support our industry? There's more local production. But right now what we're really focusing on is, again, keeping our farmers farming. But Charlie, that's a great idea. Again, we've started that kind of because of what's happened, but we do have a pretty extensive database, and it was growing like every day. I mean, it was just being forwarded, and they were doing it online. A couple of questions: what do you have? Where are you located? What are your markets? Even asking certain things like food safety certification, because some of the buyers, they had certain requirements. So But I know, the Department of Agriculture, Sharon Hurd's branch, they were working on this for a couple of years, and hopefully, we can contribute to that and everybody else. And we developed this database. But again, there's different organizations on different islands that are doing that, where they're expanding their reach of farmers so that we can connect the farmers and ranchers with our local community to support and again provide more local for Hawaii residents.
Now, does the Farm Bureau have like a database that also records complaints of farmers that maybe, no, the average person wouldn't hear about?
No, we don't have a database of complaints because
Okay.
all our local stuff is super awesome.
I agree. That's a good answer, because the
Fresh.
last time I went to a farmer's market, I wanted to make pickled mangoes, and I went home and I was disappointed because I got avocados instead. So I don't know if it was the wrong thing or I wasn't looking right. But anyway,
I'll send you some pictures of the two. So next time you go, you know which one to grab. Or just ask the
thanks.
farmers. Our farmers are extremely proud of what they're producing, right? And it's fresh. You go to a farmer's market, that thing could have been harvested yesterday, instead of being on the boat or even on the plane. So really we just ask the public, Hawaii residents, to continue to purchase. Go to those restaurants that are reopening. Please, if you have the means, support our local restaurants, especially those that are supporting the local farmers and our ranchers. If you have the means, and I know everybody is struggling, but if you have the means, please consider donating to the Hawaii Food Bank, to the Kauai Food Bank, Kauai Independent Food Bank. Donate to these organizations that are really helping, everyone. I mean, they've stepped up so much. Hawaii Community Foundation has been amazing. Ulupono, I can't say enough about what Ulupono is doing. First Hawaiian Bank, we've got so many of these organizations that have really stepped up and it really, again, not just supporting those that are in need. And with 200 plus thousand people on unemployment, uh, there's a lot more people that are in these lines that need the support right now. But to be able to support our local farmers and ranchers to these purchasing, Hawaii Farm Bureau since I think beginning of April, it's kind of when we started a lot of these different programs on Kauai, on Maui, on Molokai, on Hawaii Island, and on Oahu. You know, we purchased about $1 million worth of local produce and protein, and that's great. It sounds like a lot, but our estimates are 1.5 to $2 million in sales a week has been lost by our local farmers and ranchers. So, although these programs are making a dent, some farmers and ranchers are they're still struggling like everybody else.
Uh, I think the community support is really what we need right now. I mean, I think more than ever before. And I did want to read this because Megan Wong, resident over here with her friend Paulina, started an Adopt a Kupuna community program for North Shore community back in March. They had generous friends that really started this effort off, and they would purchase these CSA boxes, these vegetable boxes and fruits from Kilauea, where Charlie talked about Aina Kupu o Kilauea, and they would pass out 400 these boxes to 400 households a week. Well, they recently uh, Aina Kupu just received a USDA grant, so now they can move 400 CSA boxes a day across the island from Kekaha to Haena. And that's what it's going to take, whether the funding comes from the federal government or from local contributors. That's what it's going to take. But that's all local produce right out of Kilauea. And you can actually purchase. My wife purchased, I'm not sure how we even got the connect, but Leong's restaurant or Leong's little, what is it, meat house in Kapaa was selling these boxes for $30. And you get a hamburger, you get taro burger, you get the buns, you get local fruit, you get and the buns was ridiculous. It was like so delicious. I don't even know who made them, but it's local. You had the lettuce, you had the tomato, all local stuff right out of Kilauea, and $30. And that, I mean, huh? Oh, 35, I think she said, whatever it was. But if you had
Still
to go
worth
and
it.
buy that separately in the store, it would have been more.
Yeah.
So, when you come across those opportunities, that's where you got to take advantage. I think we had kale too, but I gave that away. I cannot eat kale. That
A-
the kale, I don't care how you make them. That's just something I stay away from.
Even here on Oahu, we're supporting. We've been purchasing from Hanale Taro, from the Haraguchis, right, helping move some product. But they've got some excellent product, excellent taro products, and there's the demand. So, I think the food box program that you had referred to is part of the CARES Act, the CFAP, the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program, and we're excited that out of the I think it was $3 billion, Hawaii was able to get 5.2 million, and two organizations on Kauai were able to receive funding for that. So again, it helps the needy, but it helps the farmers. Buying the local produce, the CSA boxes you're talking about, community supported agriculture. Absolutely. I mean, we talk about the cost of the local stuff. It's not that much higher. So, if we make the commitment, no, I'm going to go back to your, the word user, to make that commitment to continue to purchase local, continue to support our local farmers, continue to support our local economy. That's what we really need. Our industry really needs that. Agriculture, we want to grow it. Is it going to replace tourism? Honestly, probably not. But we can do our part, and we can continue to grow our industry, continue to address food security issues, and produce more and more here. The less that we import, obviously, the better it is. Uh, Minimize our carbon footprint, lower our carbon footprint, support the local economy, support open space with our farmers and ranchers. When we import, a lot of things come as hitchhikers. A lot of invasive species are coming in, not just on agriculture, but everything that we import. But agriculture, some things can come in. So let's focus on growing, okay, growing our industry, and that's what we're trying to do. And this opportunity that we're getting now with the support that we see from Hawaii residents, from our local communities, it's very exciting, and we hope it continues. We can see, some of the programs, maybe they're plateauing, and people are maybe resuming their shopping and buying patterns prior to COVID-19. One thing we don't want them to do is stop buying local. Continue to buy local. Support your local farmers market, your CSA programs, your home delivery programs. When you go to the supermarkets, ask for or even demand, support your local restaurants. Again, that's using the local products. Really support those amazing chefs that we got out there. All of this is going to make a difference. Again, buy local. It matters. It really does. And this is how we're going to help grow our industry.
I don't know if you have a Facebook feed running or not, Brian, but I will tell you, it's pretty cool what's happening right now on Facebook. Right on this show, there's people bartering for bananas and vegetables. This is like really neat to see right now. People going back and forth, Sandy KK and Beatles and all these people asking for different varieties of bananas for potatoes. This is happening right in front of our eyes right now as I'm watching. And I'm looking down, not to ignore you, Brian. I'm looking down because I monitor comments. And it's awesome to see the connection. So the Agency on Elderly Affairs here on Kauai, for Kauai people that are watching, they have a directory, and I'm sure that they have no problem sharing that with you, of all the local farmers and ranchers. One brochure that you can make contact and buy direct from our local farmers and ranchers. And Agency of Elderly Affairs there, Julie, she's actually watching right now. She can make that available for you, but deal directly with the farmers and the ranchers and buy local. I mean, that's really starting to sound like a telethon, but that's what we're trying to get the message out. It will make, I think you heard Brian say, it will make a difference. Even if you commit 10%, 20% of your grocery run to local as a start, we're going to make a difference.
I never saw this before in any of our shows, even when we brought Johnny on, and he was good. But I tell you, I'm looking at some of the people, and like Mel said, they're bartering. But then some people are actually sharing menus because Mel said he doesn't like kale, or we get kale menus coming up now on the screen. I mean, unbelievable.
Portuguese bean soup. Put the kale in the Portuguese bean soup.
Yeah, Mel, don't knock kale. I eat kale. I mean, obviously every day, right? I mean, you can. My favorite food, kale.
You know, Brian, I'm gonna be honest, man. I've tried it so many, I've tried it so many different ways. I cannot acquire the taste. No, look, she's telling me, no, 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 kale chips. I don't like kale chips. I don't like kale. There was this salad that see, now she's telling me she put them in the food and not tell me, and I ate them. Okay, all right, make it that way. I can eat them, I guess. But I saw this salad, and it kale, and I could see the kale, and it looked so good. I said, finally, somebody was able to prepare this salad and kale in a way that, I mean, I took the bite, Brian. Sorry, cannot.
Okay, do me a favor. Try 'em one more time. I mean,
I'm
again,
trying.
one more time. Just try one more time.
I,
Some other
I,
day.
gonna,
Brian, Brian,
I'm gonna ask my wife to put it in the next Portuguese bean soup she make. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
Brian, I gonna tell you from experience. He gonna try one more time, and you gonna get the same answer. It's a
At
good
least
answer.
you're trying. At least you're trying. Again, we get so much diversity of products here in Hawaii. Just if it's not kale, and kale's an amazing product. We get a lot of great farmers growing kale. So all those out there, please, don't listen to Mel. Kale is great. Now I don't listen to him. But buy something or try something else. Try the different products that we grow. Johnny Gordines, President Hawaii Farm Bureau. Sandy's on the Farm Bureau board. Jerry Nellis. Jerry's got a whole bunch of products. So just connect with the farmers. Direct sales are great. Connect with the farmers. If you don't know who to call, call the Hawaii Farm Bureau. Ask them. Do you know any of the farmers? They've got several hundred members. And any support for our local farmers, our Kauai farmers, our Hawaii farmers is a positive thing. That's what we need. We're here to ask for continued support. Okay, continue to help us to grow our industry. And I don't have Facebook, so um, I'm not really sure where I can see what you're seeing.
Yeah, because
Well,
right now
you know,
we're on Zoom, and we simultaneously air this thing to Facebook. So the people that are watching are actually watching it on Facebook, and they get to comment. So
well,
um,
Stephanie said to ask you, Brian, about having Mel try the liquor product that is in high demand.
The liquor product, what is that? Hand sanitizer. What are you talking about? And that's one of the innovative pivots that our ag industry did, right? Uh, Koloa, Kohana Rum, Maui Brewing, right? They started making hand sanitizer. They started addressing a need that our community had out there. We didn't have the supply, and I mean, for us, we still are using those products, at our farmers markets, in our office, uh, you know, to maintain some of the CDC guidelines and for safety of our staff, of our customers, of our vendors. So again, farmers, they're very innovative. They're resilient. Um, but we could use your help. We're not looking for handouts. We're looking for a handout. Again, the federal CARES Act money and the state legislature. I know, Senator Dela Cruz, Representative Luke. They're really looking at how they can help support the growth of agriculture. We know the budget is tight, but even the CIP budget that they passed, there's money for agriculture infrastructure, and that's the kind of support that we need. And then at the county level, you know, um, the different counties, and we're talking about Kauai. I gotta say hi. I hope he's watching. Mayor Kawakami, um, doing an amazing job. His leadership has been amazing. So really continue that support for agriculture. I'll keep saying it does sound like a telethon, but every time a farm bureau has an opportunity to speak, we really want to reach out to our residents and our people, our local community. Support your local farmers and ranchers. A lot of those guys are your neighbors, your relatives. Support their businesses. Support all local businesses in this Kama'aina, or this time for the kind of Kama'aina economy. It's help our guys get back on their feet. Um, I even had a talk to them about somebody about, talking about Las Vegas and what they're doing. I said, hey, you know what? when the travel quarantine for neighborhoods open up, let's staycation. Let's put the money back into our economy. Those that have the means, again, not everybody has the means, but you have the means, and you thinking about traveling to Las Vegas right now. You know what? Stay home. Spend the money here. Support your family, your neighbors, your friends, our community. Really put the money back into Hawaii. Really ask everybody to do that. Again, if you have the means, support your local farmers and ranchers, support your local restaurants, okay? Support your local small businesses. Um, support the food banks. I mean, everybody is struggling, but if you do have the means, please consider supporting those that need the help right now.
Hey Mel, I think some people right now offering you menus. They said try some kale with smoked meat.
I
Okay.
saw that. You know, I might have to do that. I'll try. I'm gonna take Brian's. I will try. We might do it live. We might do it live. We'll do it on one of our shows. I'll eat the damn kale in front of you, all of you, and we'll see. Okay, and okay, but then we'll put that damn thing to rest. All right? Because
Well, I will make a menu for you. I will make you some kale ice cream.
no. I'm gonna go with the Portuguese bean soup, and I'm gonna go with the smoked meat and kale. And that's we'll try that first. Okay, we'll try that and see how that
And
thing goes.
dessert some kale ice cream.
Nah, I'm a Kona coffee ice cream. Kona coffee, Hawaii ice
Kale
cream.
and Kona coffee start with K. So let's go to kale first. There you go.
Brian, I get a couple questions back to see now I'm starting to see my friends. I thought I was the only one that didn't like kale, but apparently not. There's many more. But Brian, there was a time where all the islands had all the sugar plantations and the sugar cane and with all these irrigation ditches. And I mean, I was on a council for a very long time and still could never figure out why we haven't reactivated the ditches. And I know, I mean, it's always somebody else's responsibility, but that ditch network, I know for a fact on Kauai anyway, and I'm sure every island has them. Could provide a lot of help for our farmers. That old system of ditches and reservoirs and the ditch man knowing when to open the gate and not open the gate. I mean, they had that thing down pat. The aquifers were being recharged. We're getting the water tables were, everything was working, and then it just went kaput. What is the challenge now for farmers as far as irrigation, using those ditches for irrigation for their crops?
A lot of those systems were built and maintained by the plantations, and then turned over to the state. So they're aging. The infrastructure needs assistance, and our state legislature has been putting money, but there's so many different systems, so many different needs out there. So again, it's we need the capital, we need the investment to maintain these systems, because again, the farmer needs access to water. So every year we see several projects or several systems that get funding. I think a lot of times they say, why don't do it all at once? Sometimes the need isn't there. Sometimes they'll do segments of the system. So again, our state budget, there's finite resources. So you really appreciate we actively lobby the state legislature. We know the East Kauai system is something that is of concern to us. We are hoping that the operations would be turned over to the Department of Agriculture. We know, the East Kauai Co-op has done some amazing work, but you know, our farmers, as we all know, they're aging. Average age of the farmer is 60, 61 years old. They the sweat equity that they put into that. Um, they needed some assistance. So we were hoping, and we were hoping maybe this was a year that we could get that transfer over, so that the resources could be put into not just the operation, but the maintenance of our systems. And we're talking about statewide. So we do see projects throughout the every year, projects that are submitted to the state legislature, and many of them are funded. But we've got systems all over the state, different needs, and it's not just water infrastructure that's needed for our farmers. So it's a tough question. there's a lot of need out there, and again, these needs have cost to them. So the legislature makes the decisions on which ones are most critical, that need the funding immediately, and those that maybe next year or 2 years from now. So we're constantly working with our state Department of Agriculture, DLNR, but also ultimately with the legislature to help support uh, um, funding for these systems.
All right. I Johnny just posted a website on the feed. And I just looked at it now, and I think you may have brought it up the last time, and I for whatever reason I didn't look it up. But tryeathawaii.com, tryeathawaii.com, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but look at that. That's all local. That's just the vegetable part. And look at this asparagus, and it's $2, and it tells you right there, and it has the contact person. In this case, it's Juan Sichachet as the phone number, address, and you can make contact with the farmer. This is a heck of a website, and they got everything: banana flowers, basil, bok choy, carrots, Carly, kale. Mm.
So this is what you're talking about, Mel. Connecting the consumers with the farmers. So Hawaii, Try Eat Hawaii. I mean, it's a great program. Really can connect consumers with farmers. And if you, I went on the website the other day, but see if you can pull up what was it, avocado and mango, and show that to Charlie. Show him the difference between the two.
Avocado and mango.
He said that
Well,
he was confused. Huh? What was it, Charlie?
yeah, I got confused. I thought I bought mangoes, but I had avocado.
Charlie, just excuse Charlie, okay? Just excuse Charlie.
Hey,
Um,
let me ask you a question. I just got a note from Steph here. You sit on the State Recovery Task Force?
I sit on. I was invited to participate on the House COVID committee, Speaker Psyche's committee. So we're meeting once a week via Zoom every Monday. Our next meeting, I believe, is next week, June 15th. So it's a committee that's got Hero on there. It's got Hawaii Food Industry Alliance. You've got Dr. Mugiishi, General Hara's on there. Uh, Speaker Psyche and Peter Holt from Bank of Hawaii, the co-chairpersons. Uh, Representative Della Balati, Richard Onishi, Alan Oshima participates on that committee. So it's a pretty diverse committee that is really looking at different industries. I think the fishing industry is also on there. So different industries, all the chamber, Sherry, McNamara from the Hawaii Chamber of Commerce, all the different chambers on there, and really looking at some of the challenges and what we need to do to help with our recovery.
So how, without, I don't know what is confidential or not for you, but how does it look right now as an overall? I think, right now we've been so concentrated on, as opening up the borders for outside travel. And yet we're still having a hard time figuring out how to, you talked about, buy local, because with Maine and you get pests coming in. Well, the virus is a pest and it will come in. There's no doubt about it. We were just looking at today in Arizona about how much they're getting so overrun now that the health department had put out a special alert to all health facilities, because each facility, main facility in Arizona, is pretty much beds are all occupied already. So it's a scary thing. So I just wanted to know from your perspective, how does the recovery look?
Well, for a while it looked like we were moving in the right direction, and I still think we are. We had a couple of surges. I think Friday and Saturday we had 9 cases, and we had 2 and 1, and today we're back up to 6. So, I'll leave that to those that are in healthcare and then our legislative leaders on determining, and our administration on determining what when it is. They do have kind of their charts on the stay at home and the safer at home, and I think we're in that yellow phase right now. It's more and more business, our economy is opening more and more. So again, I don't want to speculate on where we're going. Just, we do need, it's my opinion, to help open up our economy and help those that, help people get back to work. But we also need to be concerned about, our state, our residents here, and make sure that, if we do open up, we have, those things in place. And again, our leaders are doing that on, checking, prior to coming here. We still have the quarantine, for domestic and international travel. We still have for neighbor islands, the 16th, I believe. Uh, we won't have to quarantine. Making sure we have the hospital beds and all the necessary medical equipment if we have any surges or, second or third wave. So again, we'll leave that to those that have a lot more expertise in that area. For the Farm Bureau, we just want to do whatever we can to continue to support our farmers and ranchers, continue to help them farm and ranch, produce the farm, feed, fuel, floriculture, all the things that we need here in Hawaii, that we want here in Hawaii. And the way we do that is buying local.
Okay.
Brad Seymour just commented that they're getting tremendous support with the irrigation systems from our Senate President, obviously Ron Kochi, and Representatives Nakamura and Tokioka. So there is movement, and that is really really good to hear. The other question, does is the farm industry, and let's just say for Kauai, when the visitors are back and the hotels and the restaurants are pumping, is there enough supply to accommodate the local buyer like me? Do we have enough stock? Do we have enough farmers statewide to accommodate visitors when we're back back to peak, or when we get back to somewhat normal? Is there still enough produce and fruits to go around to the private people?
Are you talking from a statewide level or specifically to Kauai?
Well,
Um,
we can start with Kauai. I mean, we have viewers from all over the country, really. But why don't we start with Kauai?
I think we need to increase our production. We need to increase our output. I saw some data from CTAR, and it suggested that a lot of the food that we produce here in Hawaii pre-COVID was for our visitor industry and our food service industry versus our local industry. Um, you know, we want the food to go to our locals. We want to talk about self-sufficiency and food security, but we don't want to ignore also our visitor industry, our amazing chefs, guys like Roy Yamaguchi, Alan Wong. Here in Oahu, we got um, Wade and Michelle Uoka, MW. They really use the local products and really highlight the local, and it really helps the the farmers, right, with their sales. And somebody goes to the restaurant, has their product, and then when next time they're at the supermarket, the farmers market, they'll buy that particular farm product. So I think we need to increase our production, and that's what we're looking at. How do we ramp up? How do we scale up? How do we help those that are maybe medium sized, grow, grow their operations so we can have enough or more produce, more local products for our local residents when the visitor industry starts coming back. Right now we don't have a visitor industry; it's extremely small. So there's a lot more availability of the local products for our Hawaii residents. But you know, when the visitor industry comes back, or even maybe not at its full level, but when it starts coming back, some of the farmers they will be selling to the hotels, those restaurants in the hotels. They're already selling. We see a little bit of a bump to the restaurant industry because of dine-in um, restaurants, or being able to dine in the restaurants increase, although it's 50%, and some have not even reopened, but we are seeing an increase. So what we need to do is maybe not return to where we were as our production. It's look to see how we can increase how we can support. You talked about it at the county level. What can we do at the county level? Counties offer, ag rates on property tax, ag rates, some of them on water. What can we do at the state level? What can we do at the federal level? And again, all of these things to help support the farm production, which will result in increasing the amount of local that we have here.
That's the bottom line. That's the takeaway for tonight's show is, hey, buy local. I did want to, for those of you that are interested, Agency on Elderly Affairs, the phone number is 241-4470, 241-4470. Julie DeCosta Kajiwara, thank you for offering that up. And then, of course, the website, tryeathawaii.com, tryeathawaii, one word.com. And, we can do our part too. Charlie and I has been talking about showcasing businesses on this show for free. This show really does have a reach, and, and maybe we can showcase the businesses, the restaurants, the farmers that are strictly local. The ones that fly their stuff in or buy from Costco, they can go advertise on the radio. But for the local farmers and the local restaurants that are, majority of their produce, we understand that some cases you gotta buy. We just don't have the product here, or whatever. But I think for those that are really trying to make that commitment, that that's one way of supporting them is promoting them and promoting them to everybody. And then the better part is actually patronizing those places. I think that's critical right now. Kauai Strong, that's what that means. It's when we band together and help each other out. And this is one way we can do it. And I'm excited. I will say this, and it's not limited to fruits, vegetables, and beef and everything else. It's flowers too. Johnny, I will tell you, I told this story. My wife ordered a flower arrangement from Johnny, and he had it sent to my dad, and who's actually watching this in Seattle. And my dad was so impressed, and he's local boy, moved to Seattle many years ago, but recognized that all of the flowers were local Kauai stuff, and actually made my dad cry. It was pretty cool because he got a little dose of being back at Kauai. So it's not, that doesn't end with fruits, vegetables, and meat and all of that. We got a flower industry with Johnny Gardenias, guys. So yeah, a lot of options we have.
Our floriculture industry is critically important, and we need to support them. I believe I was looking it up. I wasn't sure if it's Kauai grown or grown on Kauai. I think it's Kauai grown. So, there's a program that you guys have on Kauai, and a great suggestion, Mel. Really, let's highlight those local businesses. Let's support our mom and pops. Let's support our local entrepreneurs and support our local farmers and ranchers. And any way that you guys can do that, I know our members, our farmers and ranchers would really appreciate that. And again, let's showcase those chefs that are making a commitment to buy the local products. Let's showcase those supermarkets that say, we're going to carry the local stuff. We really believe, we're really supporting our local farming community. So I really like that, and I hope that's something that you guys consider having on your show.
Charlie, you look like you're in deep thought, man. Deep thought.
Well, there's a lot of things going through my head because at one time my uncle owned this business that Brian Watanabe took over. That Hawaii products, they're competitors, but they make all kind of stuff, pulo pig, laulaus. And I remember my uncle had it. He would always, and I was in a police department, he would always come to Maui and says, Charlie boy, I gotta buy tea leaves, no enough tea leaves on Oahu. So I'll take them down to Kianai, not knowing that I was harvesting all the tea leaves that belonged to Ernie Kanikoa. That was his property. But that's just to show you that, stuff as tea leaves are in demand. And so the reason why I get this perplexed look is because I know there's a lot of farmers up there. But I just saw when I used to go to the farmers market, the one here at the KCC, I would watch how people just look at certain farmers a different way. And I don't know if it was a product or just the way the display practice was. Some didn't go, some went. I think what Brian is saying tonight is that hey, we got to support them all. So maybe we got to look over certain hurdles and just buy the darn thing. So we keep them, we keep them in business. I mean, that's what it's going to take. We just got to buy it up. And I'm one of those guys that I'll just buy just for buy, even if I don't need them, if it means to help somebody. And I don't know if everybody has the same attitude, but I think this now's the time that us who has the power to buy something, we got to have a different attitude. We got to look at it as like, well, I never bought from that guy before, so I never gonna buy from him. So I'll just go with this person. I think it's got to be right across the playing field, got to be even. Because if not, the weak are gonna fail, and the strong will survive. And I think what we're talking about now is keeping everybody on that even keel, right, Brian?
Yep. Support them all. Support our small farmers. Support our mom and pops. You get mom and pop businesses. We have mom and pop farmers. Support those guys. Support the medium guys. Support the large guys. Support them all. It's put our money back into our economy by supporting our local businesses. Not just the farmers and the ranchers, but all our local businesses, but especially those businesses that support the farmers and ranchers. So you're supporting the small business that's supporting the small farmers and ranchers, medium farmers and ranchers, large farmers and ranchers. That's double support. And that's what we need. That's what we need at times like this. Is we're going to need after COVID. We're going to need the community to continue to support our local.
Well, I tell you one thing. It's funny how we as humans, we're funny creatures. When everything is going good, out of sight, out of mind. But we know every so many years, contracts on our docks is going to come up, right? And every time they come up, that's when I start getting a little worried, because that's when you start worrying about shipment of goods coming in. And one of it is produce. I think if we have the mindset that say, hey, why don't we take it where every day we might run the risk of not having produce come in, I think that can wake up more people to just go heavy on buying local. And as long as we got the farmers out there that can produce it, I'm pretty sure everybody going. But like I said, everybody got to change the mindset in order for that to work.
Yeah, and COVID did a little bit of that. The possible potential disruption to our food supply chain from the mainland, right? We import 85 to 90% of our food, and when people saw, what was going on and how some states were their cases, they had such high numbers, and then the COVID cases that were happening at the meat processing plants. We saw kind of this again, this focus back on local ag. If the boats stop coming or the planes stop coming, or they continue to come, which they were, but if the supply isn't there, they may be coming empty. We better look at ourselves and say, hey, what do we need to do to ramp up our production? What do we need to do to produce more of our food so that we're more self-sufficient? Because we don't want to see that. We don't want to see people without food, but this is an opportunity again, with a lot more attention being put on our local production there, to really make that investment in local farming and ranching and see how we can increase our production and support our farmers and ranchers statewide and truly grow our ag industry.
Yeah.
Well, I think if we can show the demand, if we as the people that live here can display the demand, the farmers will produce. They will accommodate the demand, but you cannot expect the farmers to overplant, hoping for a demand, and then end up with crops that cannot sell. And that I think now is the period. This reset period is where we can show the farmers that there is a definite demand, local demand here, and would encourage them to increase the supply. But absent the demand, I mean, what farmer is going to waste money on crops that they cannot sell? So I think
it's a business.
It's a business.
Why would they continue to plant without a market? Richard Hawley always says, the farmer make money, the farmer will farm, right? And understand that farming is a business, and it's hard to be in any business if you're investing in your seeds, in your fertilizer, in your water, in your labor, your gas for your tractor, and you plant all that, and you harvest it, so you spend more money on labor and on processing, on washing and packing, but you don't have a market. You just lost all that money, right? And
Yeah.
farming are perishable. Farm products are perishable crops, perishable items. So it's so risky to being farmers, to being a farmer. Um, I really salute these guys. We focus a lot on our healthcare frontline workers, deservingly so. These guys are putting themselves at risk. Our first responders putting themselves at risk, even those that have been working in the supermarkets. But you know what? Our farmers also, I mean, we need to applaud them for continuing to work, produce the food, produce the flowers, produce the things that we all want here in Hawaii. Um, they've been doing what they can, and some of them are still struggling. Again, some of the federal relief has been slow to come. We're hoping with the CFAP that we talked about earlier with the food boxes, that's going to really help some of our local growers. But there's also a second part to that program, $16 billion for farmers and ranchers across the state. So we're hoping that a lot of our farmers are going to be able to take advantage of that. That's the direct payments for some of their losses. So, working with, our congressional delegation, who's really been, extremely supportive and extremely helpful to our ag industry, working with our state legislature, working with our Department of Ag, and again, to try to get that assistance out to the farmers, get them some income so they can continue to produce all the stuff that we here in Hawaii want and need.
Well,
Good.
Brian, that hour, in fact, we're a little bit over our time, but is there an email for the Hawaii Farm Bureau that anybody watching that may need some help or questions, or they need to get in touch with the Farm Bureau? Is there an email?
Absolutely. So our website is hfbf.org, and we do have a COVID page, so to speak, or COVID site that we have developed that we're continuing to add all the different support mechanisms for the farmers and ranchers. Our email is info@hfbf.org. It's checked every day. Please send any questions that you may have, anything that we can do to support our farmers and ranchers. We really do want to do that. We work with many different partners, USDA, State Department of Agriculture, work with the counties, work with our state legislature, even working with our national organization who's in DC that works with USDA up there, but also Congress. And again, we're doing whatever we can to support our local farmers and ranchers. And it's still a struggle, but with different organizations and different entities support, hopefully we'll come out of this better than when we went in. And that's our hope, is to really grow our industry, take this opportunity to develop some new direction for our industry and grow agriculture here in Hawaii.
Well, like I said, I think it's a reset for all industries, and it's a period that we, as a state, can dictate what direction we want to go in many facets, whether it's the visitor industry, tourism, the hospitality industry, farming, agriculture, ranching, all of these things. And we dictate what direction we want to go, and it's going to take commitments from every single person, every single level of government, and every business owner. So, thank you very much, Brian. I think a lot of positive comments. I wish you could see this, but we'll get a Facebook account, man.
We have one for Farm Nothing. We have one for Farm Bureau.
Oh, okay.
I am tempted to get a TikTok because of Miracle Coming.
Yeah, I actually downloaded the app and I looked at it. I said, nah, not me. But yeah, he's awesome he's great with TikTok. I mean, he's really good. But, go to your Farm Bureau Facebook page. You can just hit my page and just scroll down until you come across this video, and then you can read the comments. There's some really good stuff in here, really good stuff. And just appreciate you taking the time for being with us tonight.
Thank you for inviting the Hawaii Farm Bureau. Really do appreciate the opportunity.
I'm sure we'll have you back on another time. I just want to remind the viewers, tomorrow night we'll have Dr. Tripkovsky from the Doctors of Waikiki. Interesting cat. He'll be on tomorrow night. Thursday, we have Eric Gill from the Local 5. That one's going to be interesting as well. And on Friday, Dr. Behrman, the state health director for Kauai. You know, we've been talking about Dr. Behrman, trying to get her on. Apparently, there was a miscommunication, so she never got the original invite, but she'll be on Friday. And on Saturday, we have Angela Keene from Hawaii Quarantine or Hawaii Kapu Quarantine Busters, who couldn't make it the last time because she had unfortunately got food poisoning, probably eating some imported food, not local. But anyway, she'll be on Saturday night. So we got a busy week. I did want to announce that starting the 22nd of June, we are going to host all of the council candidates. We're going to have them, they're going to have 15 minutes each, and we're going to go through 4 candidates per night, where they'll have a 10-minute opportunity to just share their vision for Kauai, and then we'll have a 5-minute Q&A, and then we'll do that for each candidate, and that'll go through the week of the 22nd to the 27th. So that'll be fun and exciting, and stay tuned for that. That'll be really good. Charlie, you look like you. What's up, Charlie?
Well, I just want to tell the viewers, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You know, something just popped into my head. I know there's a lot of you that want to go to Vegas. Some of you make money, some of you lose money. But on average, if you lose $300, you just enjoyed your trip up there. Think of it this way. I was about taking that 300 and buying local. That's all we ask. Okay, take that money that you was going to spend in Vegas. Let this pass go around. What you would have spent up there, I was about spending it home here. Because there will come a time, should it come knocking on our doors, that we're going to have to learn, we're going to have to be dependent on the experts, which is the farmers, how to grow food. Because I can tell you right now, I don't know how to do it. I just go and buy, and that's no joke. So, you know, I'm going to say it, I'm just going to say it plainly. Take the money you would have spent in Vegas this go around, and please help the farmers because we need them here. Because right now, if you think about it, if you're in a business as a painter, you got your warehouse, you got all your paint, you got your labor, you got your vehicle, bingo, that's it. These farmers depend on water that's regulated by the government or whoever. They got to work in outdoor conditions, so they're at the whim of the environment. So if you have a good season, everything's a-okay. You got a stormy season, your crop down the tubes. And that's just a chance you got to take. Where you going to tell me you're going to find a business person that's willing to take those kind of chances to feed the masses? So I think tonight was very important that Brian gave us the word. And I think, you know, I'm a believer. Coming in this tonight, I was kind of, you know, I'm going to be honest, I was a little skeptic. But I just said, you know, I want to listen. I know Brian, but I never fully understood what the Farm Bureau had engaged. But now I know. So again, I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you. You folks have that chance. If you're thinking of going to Vegas, but change your mind, you're going to spend $200, $300, $400, $500. Do me a favor. How's about doing it locally here? And let's keep these farmers keep on going to feed all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie. And you know, some of these guys on this call right now spend $300 before they leave the Vegas airport to go to the hotel and the casino. So just share some of that here. Excellent points. Again, Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us. A lot of value tonight, a lot of value for a lot of people. Again, don't forget Agency on Elderly Affairs. Get the information. Buy local, and let's help this industry. All right, until tomorrow night, we'll see you guys at 7 o'clock, and we will have Dr. T. All right, everybody take care, stay safe, and of course, we love you guys. God bless.
Take care.